Hello there, I'm Graham Garden.
And I'm Tim Brooke-Taylor.
And welcome to a brand new quiz show, Beat the Nation. A leading polling organisation has asked every question in this show to over 1,000 people right across Britain, from Land's End to John O'Groats.
And our contestant scores will depend on just how well or how badly the nation has done.
For example, our pollsters asked the nation, who designed St Paul's Cathedral in London?
The answer is that great 17th century architect, Sir Christopher Wren, and our poll reveals that just 22% of the nation knew the answer. So if one of our contestants got that right, they'd have beaten 78% of the nation and scored 78 points.
Quite simply, the more you beat, the more you score. And if our contestants beat the nation, they'll be battling it out in our £25,000 grand final at the end of the series. So let's find out who's hoping to score those points on our very first show. Tim.
First up is Adam Evans. He's an economics student from Jesmond in Newcastle. Economics, how long have you been doing that, Adam?
About 3 years now.
And what do economics students do for fun?
Same as most students, go out and drink.
And you're studying in the north. Do you come from the north?
No, I come from London.
Oh, cool. You're in good company here. Next to Adam is Frosso Miltiado, a recruitment consultant from Brixton in London. But Frosso, you qualified as a barrister.
Yes, I did.
So why did you move away?
I suppose the bar's a bit of a fuddy-duddy kind of place to be, so I just thought it wasn't for me.
Fair enough. Next to Frosso is Rodney Jack, an architect from Romford in Essex. Any particular type of architect, Rodney?
Postmodern, classical, anything. It all rings my bell, really.
And brilliant.
Yeah.
Gather you met a very famous actor.
I have.
Who's that?
Yeah, Ian McKellen.
Really?
Yeah. I saw him eating lunch in a cafe.
Yeah.
And I went over to him and said hello, Gandalf, and congratulated him on his choice of pasta for lunch. Basically, that was it, and went away embarrassed.
Gandalf sounds as if he should go with Frosso, who's next door to you. Next to Rodney is Jennifer Sagala. She's an electronic dictionary editor from Walthamstow in London. It may be what it sounds like, but an electronic dictionary editor, you don't get many of those to the pound. What do you do?
No, there aren't very many of us. Basically, I am an editor for dictionaries that are on CD-ROM or on the web, so that involves everything from choosing illustrations to go with particular entries, checking spelling, typos, making sure things fit on the page the way they're meant to. I'm sort of a catch-all kind of thing.
I have to say I'm very grateful to you people. I suddenly know a lot more when I go on the web. Graham, those are our splendid contestants.
And what a highly qualified group they are too. But can any of them beat the nation today? Let's find out. Round one features questions that most people in Britain don't know the answer to. Our polling tells us that less than half of the nation can answer the following questions. But can our contestants, and can you at home? Let's find out. Now, contestants, whichever one of you fails to reach 150 points will unfortunately be leaving early. So, stand by with those delightful, pristine buzzers, please, because here come the questions. Who wrote the novel The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Jennifer?
Robert Louis Stevenson.
Yes, he did.
Only 13% of the nation got that right, so very well done if you got that right at home. But more importantly, 87% got it wrong. So, Jennifer, you start with a very splendid 87 points. Well done.
The Sears Tower skyscraper, Adam,
Chicago?
is in which American city? Chicago, yes.
15% knew that, 85% didn't, so you get 85 points. Good start for Adam as well.
Adam just needs 65 to go through. Jennifer needs 63. Frosso and Rodney still to score. In the TV comedy series Birds of a Feather, where in Essex did Tracy... Frosso?
Chigwell.
Chigwell is where Tracy had her Neo-Georgian house.
Frosso, you get 66 points for that, as 66% of the nation got it wrong. Welcome to the game.
OK, Frosso needs 84, Adam needs 65, Jennifer needs 63, Rodney needs 150. Fingers on buzzers. Which London street connects Piccadilly Circus to Oxford Circus? Rodney?
Regent Street.
Regent Street is right.
And that's worth 83 points. Very good start, Rodney.
Needing 67, so it's pretty level at the moment. With which club did Bobby Moore end his... Rodney?
Fulham.
He ended his playing career in England with Fulham, yes.
Good interruption there, Rodney. You need 67, and that's worth 94, so you're well and truly into the next round. Well done.
So Rodney has suddenly leapt ahead of the field into the next round. Jennifer needs 63, Frosso 84, Adam 65. Mrs. Darrell Waters of Green Hedges, a famous writer of children's books, was better known by what... Adam?
No, J.K. Rowling.
No, that's not the answer. Jennifer?
Beatrix Potter.
It was not Beatrix Potter. Frosso.
Enid Blyton.
It was Enid Blyton.
Frosso, you need 84 points, and that's worth 84, so you go through to the next round. Very accurately, too.
So Adam needing 65 plays Jennifer needing 63 for a place in the next round. Fritz Kreisler was a virtuoso on which musical instrument? Jennifer.
Violin.
Violin is right.
You need 63, Jennifer, and that's worth 95, so you certainly go through to the next round.
So after a very hard-fought battle there, Jennifer, Rodney and Frosso go through to the next round. Adam's still on 85. I'm afraid we part company. We don't see you in the next round. But thanks to Tim's generosity, I hope you'll be going home with a little financial sweetener.
Yes, I hope so. He's a good buzzer, Adam, I noticed. You can still go home with £100 if you can predict just how clever the nation is. Listen to the following question. In the rainbow, which colour comes between yellow and blue? Would you happen to know, Adam? Doesn't matter if you do or not.
No.
The answer is, in fact, green. But what percentage of the nation do you think knew the answer? If you can guess to within 10% either way, I'll happily hand over £100. So what percentage of the nation do you reckon?
30%.
30%. OK, so you've got between 20 and 40% is a margin error. What percentage of the nation knew this? And make it between those two for Adam, please. What percentage of the nation knew that? Oh, absolutely spot on. Miraculous powers he has. Adam, I'm very happy to say that 30% actually got that, and you get £100. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
So it's goodbye to Adam, leaving us with Frosso, Rodney and Jennifer. And now it's round two. Just 6 questions here. These questions have been asked to over 1,000 people right across Britain, but they've also been asked to a special guest. Our contestants will score points for correct answers, but they could double those points if they can work out whether our guest knows the answer or not. So, Tim, who's joining us on our very first show?
Well, to start the series off, we have Professor Emeritus at Cambridge University, a specialist in organic chemistry, Professor Ian Fleming. Welcome, sir.
So, contestants, place your fingers over those scientific and very organic buzzers, because here comes the first of your 6 questions. Published in 1953, Casino Royale was the first... Rodney.
James Bond.
Was the first novel to feature which secret agent? James Bond is right.
It's a very shrewd buzzer in, Rodney. You get 65 points there, but to double, you've got to decide whether Professor Ian Fleming would know.
No.
No. Professor, did you or didn't you know?
Which secret agent in Casino Royale? Well, of course, with my name, I'm likely to have noticed his arrival in 1953, and of course, it's James Bond.
Right. Wrong decision there, but you still get 65, you just don't double.
Who, in Greek legend, led the Argonauts in search of the... Jennifer.
Jason.
In search of the Golden Fleece, it was Jason.
And Jennifer, you get 24 for that, but to double, you've got to decide whether the Professor gets this right or not.
Yeah, I think you will.
OK, Professor, do you?
The leader of the Argonauts for the Golden Fleece was Jason.
Absolutely right to go with him. You double to 48.
Brilliant.
OK, only Frosso still has to score. Question 3. In cricket, how many runs are scored if a batsman... Rodney.
4.
No. How many runs are scored if a batsman hits a ball over the boundary without it touching the ground? Jennifer.
8.
Not 8. Frosso.
3.
Not 3.
Well, let's see if the Professor knows the answer to this.
What is the score for a ball that flies over the boundary without touching the ground? Goodness, I'm surprised I know the answer to that. 6.
And he's absolutely right, and you could have doubled to 102.
Rodney, a little bit eager on the buzzer there, I think. OK, we have 3 questions left. Rodney has 65, Jennifer 48. Frosso's still to score, but there are plenty of points and those doubles. Who composed the opera The Marriage of Figaro first? Frosso?
Mozart.
Mozart, first performed in 1786, yes.
And you get 89 points, Frosso, but to double, did the Professor get this right?
Yes, I think he did.
Yeah, probably did. Did you, Professor?
Composer of The Marriage of Figaro was Mozart, of course.
And you were right to go with it. Of course, you're right to go with him, and you double to 178.
Suddenly, with 178, Frosso is in the lead, with Rodney on 65 and Jennifer on 48. 2 questions left. What is the name of the computer that kills its human masters in the film 2001? Jennifer.
HAL.
HAL is right, in 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Good on computer dictionaries, and she also knows that. She gets 72 points to double. Would Professor Ian Fleming know that?
Yeah.
is of a generation. I think you probably will. Professor?
What is the name of the computer in 2001? The one that kills its masters. I don't remember it doing that. It may do. It was called HAL.
Well, you were right to go with him, so you doubled to 144. Well done.
OK, the last question, we find Jennifer on 192, Frosso on 178, Rodney on 65, but it still could be done. Two of you will go through. We'll find out which two now. The Hanged Man and the Female Pope are in which card pack? Jennifer?
The tarot.
The tarot is right.
And you get 68 points for that. But to double once again, would Professor Ian Fleming know the answer to that?
Yeah,
You think so?
I think so.
OK, Professor, did you know that answer?
Hangman, Female Pope, in which card pack? That would be the tarot cards.
Absolutely right to go with him once again. You doubled to 176.
So, at the end of that very close contest, Jennifer has 328, goes through, joined by Frosso with 178. Rodney is still on 65. I'm afraid you don't come back with us in part two, but Tim, I'm sure you've got something that could make his departure a little more pleasant for him.
Well, I'd like to. Rodney's still kicking himself over the cricket question. But I've still got £100 up for grabs, Rodney, if you could work out who did the best, vegetarians or meat eaters, when asked the following question. In which US city is The Strip, famed for its luxury hotels, gambling casinos and exotic entertainment? Would you know, Rodney?
Las Vegas.
Absolutely spot on. But who out of veg heads or meat heads scored the highest?
I'll go for meat eaters.
Meat eaters, all right. Well, let's first of all see what percentage of vegetarians got this right. And we hope it's a small percentage. And relatively small, 45%, however. These can be very unreliable. What percentage of meat eaters got this right and make it more than 40? Oh, it's already past 35%. Well done, you meat eaters, 73%, Rodney. I'm happy to say you've got £100. Sorry you're going. Thanks for taking part. Thank you.
So it's goodbye to Rodney. In part two, Frosso and Jennifer will be going head-to-head to see which one of them will be playing to beat the nation. But before we take a break, Tim is going to leave us with something we've called a one-percenter.
Yes, this is a question answered correctly by just 1% of the nation, hence it's a one-percenter. And the question on our first show is, in which country was the violinist Yehudi Menuhin born? In which country was violinist Yehudi Menuhin born? Got the answer already at home? Well, you'll have to wait until after the break to see if you're right.
We'll see you then. Welcome back to Beat the Nation, where all our questions have been polled to over 1,000 people right across Britain. Now, Tim, will you put 99% of us out of our misery and give us the answer to that 1%er?
Well, before the break, I asked you, in which country was violinist Yehudi Menuhin born? Jennifer, Frosso, would either of you know?
Is it Israel?
No. Frosso?
Poland?
No. Reasonable guesses, but wrong. Graham?
Yeah, I thought Europe. Germany, perhaps?
No, I'm happy to say you're completely wrong. It's the United States. It's no shame if you got that wrong at home, though, because just 1% of the nation got it right. Very well done if that was you. You're in our 1% club already.
Meanwhile, Jennifer and Frosso remain in the quiz, and now the pressure is really on them. In this round, I'm going to ask questions back and forth between each contestant in turn. The questions will get harder and harder until someone finally cracks and gets one wrong. Now, wrong answers will cost a life, and our contestants start with only 3 lives each. Jennifer, you scored highest in the last round, so the first question will go to you. Let battle commence. OK, it's a fairly simple one. It's a 10-pointer, Jennifer. In cooking, what quantity is as much as may be taken between finger and thumb?
A pinch.
It is a pinch. Frosso, a 50-pointer. At which racecourse is the Grand National horse race run? The Grand National
Aintree.
is run at Aintree. Correct. Jennifer, you face a 70-pointer. Most people don't know the answer to this. What does a tennis player call a shot hit high over an opponent's head?
A lob.
A lob is right. Frosso, you've got an 80-pointer. The adjective ursine refers to which creature? The adjective ursine refers to which creature?
A stoat.
It's not. I'm afraid it's a bear. That means, Frosso, that you lose a life on that 80-pointer. 2 lives left. The questions stay with you, but we go back to the simple ones. It's a 10-pointer. Which nocturnal bird is a proverbial symbol of wisdom?
An owl.
An owl is the right answer, so Jennifer gets a 60-pointer. What is 20 squared?
400.
400 is right. Frosso, a 70-pointer. Crazy and clock are two kinds of which game? Crazy and clock are two kinds of which game?
Card game.
They're not card games, it's golf. Crazy golf and clock golf. And that means that you have to answer correctly from now on to stay in the game. The questions stay with you, but you'll be pleased to hear it's an easy one. It's a 10-pointer. In Indian cuisine, puri and naan are types of what?
Bread.
They are indeed. Jennifer, 60-pointer. In legend, what was the name of King Arthur's sword?
Excalibur.
Yes, it was. Frosso, a 70-pointer. Which city is the capital of present-day South Korea?
Seoul.
Seoul is right. Jennifer, you get an 80-pointer. People in which trade would use glasses guide? Glasses guide.
Surveyors.
They would be car dealers, I'm afraid. So, Jennifer, you lose the first of your lives. You have 2 left. The questions stay with you, and it's a 10-pointer. Breaking a mirror is supposed to bring on how many years' bad luck?
7.
7 is right. Frosso, a 60-pointer. Alexander McQueen and Paul Smith are both members of which profession?
Clothes designers.
They are fashion designers, yes. Jennifer, a 70-pointer. In music, the Henry Wood Promenade concerts are usually held in which London hall?
The Royal Albert Hall.
Yes, they are. Frosso, an 80-pointer. Which Greek wine derives its taste and smell from pine oils? Which Greek wine derives its taste and smell from pine oils?
Retsina.
Is the right answer. Yes, Jennifer, she's thrown an 85-pointer back at you. Who was Commander-in-Chief of the Confederate armies during the American Civil War?
Ulysses S. Grant.
Robert E. Lee. With that, Jennifer, you lose a second life, so you both have 1 life left. That means the next one of you to give me a wrong answer will be leaving. So, the questions stay with Jennifer. It's a 10-pointer. Butter, broad and haricot are types of which vegetable?
Bean.
Bean is correct. Frosso, a 40-pointer. Old Trafford is the home of which Premier League football club?
Manchester United.
Yes, it is. Jennifer, a 70-pointer. Where in London is there a famous statue known as Eros?
Piccadilly Circus.
Yes, it is. Frosso, an 80-pointer. Of what are red giant, white dwarf and yellow dwarf all types?
Stars.
Stars, they are. Jennifer, an 85-pointer. Getting tough now. Which river does a Kentish man live west of and a man of Kent live east of? This to stay in the game. Which river does a Kentish man live west of and a man of Kent live east of?
The Mead.
Very close. It's the Medway. And with that, Jennifer, I'm afraid you lose that life.
It was a shrewd guess if it was a guess, Jennifer. Med. Was it? So you thinking Midway or?
I don't know what I was thinking.
It's not terribly fair to have an English geographical question at that stage, but you've done very well before. At least you got an American one.
No.
Both very close contests.
Very close. Very,
Yeah.
very tightly fought. Yeah.
Which doesn't make Jennifer feel any better, but at least you put up a good fight.
Yes, indeed. But at the end of it, it's Frosso who has triumphed, and in a moment will attempt to beat the nation. But Jennifer, never mind, because we can't stop throwing cash at people on this show, so I'll hand you over to Tim.
Well, I'll do my best, Jennifer. It's time for our Fame Game Challenge. On the screen, you'll see pictures of 2 rock stars called Bob. Mr. Tambourine Man, Bob Dylan, and reggae superstar Bob Marley. But for £100, which one could more of the nation identify? In other words, who's more famous, Bob D or Bob M?
I'll say Bob Dylan.
You say Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
OK, well, let's see, first of all, what percentage of the nation recognise Bob Marley and make it a small percentage? 34%. OK, that's promising so far. What percentage recognise Bob... Oh, dear, 26%. I am very surprised by that. Well, I'm sorry about that, Jennifer. The nation has let you down. You've been a terrific contestant, so I'm sorry you're going away with no money.
Thanks very much. It's been great.
So it's goodbye to Jennifer, but congratulations to Frosso, who is just 90 seconds and 10 correct answers away from winning our very first show. That is, if you can beat the nation. And here's how you do it.
Your first question is easy. It's one that 90 to 100% of Britain could answer. Get it right and we'll move on to a question that between 80 and 90% can answer, and so on. If you get a question wrong, you'll just keep getting questions from the same level until you do get one right.
So the questions keep getting harder and harder, right up to the last level, where you'll have to answer a question that less than 10% of the nation knows the answer to. Well, Tim, Frosser had a bit of a shaky start in the last round, but here she is.
Battle royal, wasn't it? She's done very well. Well, she's here, as you say. She's got some high scores, an 89 and an 84. Wide range, too. She knew that Mrs. Darrell Waters, better known as Enid Blyton, she knew that Mozart composed The Marriage of Figaro. Bit of a contrast.
Yep, indeed. OK, Frosso, prepare to beat the nation. Your first question could be answered by 90 to 100% of people, and your 90 seconds starts now. If in the abbreviation PC, the C stands for computer, what does the P stand for?
Personal.
That's right, 80 to 90. Seville oranges are named after a city in which country?
Spain.
Yes, 70 to 80. In the book by Herman Melville, Moby Dick was a great white what?
Whale.
He was. 60 to 70. The Silver Shadow is a model of which luxury car?
Rolls-Royce.
Yes, it is. 50 to 60. On what sort of subject was Percy Thrower an expert on TV?
Gardening.
Yes, he was. 40 to 50. From which continent do giraffes originally come?
Africa.
Correct. 30 to 40. In which joint of your body is your patella?
Arm.
In
Elbow.
your knee. The award-winning song My Heart Will Go On comes from which film?
Titanic.
Yes, it does. 20 to 30. Honiton in Devon is celebrated for the production of which textile?
Linen.
Lace. What is the main type of rock forming England's North and South Downs?
Chalk.
Chalk is right, 10 to 20. A ship in quarantine flies a flag of what colour?
White.
Yellow. The Wolds in Humberside was the first of what kind of establishment to be privatised?
Coal.
Prison. Who was accompanied on his missions by Spaceman Class 1 Albert Digby?
Don't know.
Dan Dare. The word sabotage is derived from the French word for which item of footwear?
Shoe.
Clog. What is the only prime number between 90 and 100?
97.
Yes, it is, under 10%. Which British Prime Minister was born in Liverpool in 1809?
Disraeli.
Gladstone. What is the first forename of Sir Paul McCartney? Oh, bad luck. James was his name, but time beat you, I'm afraid, there.
Oh, you go either way on Disraeli or Gladstone, wouldn't you? It was almost a 50-50. I could see you thinking. That was so close. When you were down in the under-10s, comfortably so.
Very well done. One more correct answer would have done it.
Yeah.
So bad luck this time, Frosso, but don't worry, you do get to try again on the next show, where you'll be joined by 3 brand new contestants, all trying to beat the nation. But before we go, Tim is going to leave us with a statistical x-ray of the nation's brains.
Well, obviously cartoons are the nation's forte, because when we asked which food did Popeye eat to give him strength, 99% of you gave the correct answer, spinach. Well done, everyone. Maybe the remaining 1% thought he ate olive.
Well, whether you eat spinach or olives, you can pit yourself against the nation at any time by logging on to 3ws.channel4.com/beat the nation. So until next time, thank you for joining us, and I hope we'll see you again.
Bye.
They'll be back tomorrow at 2:45. And next up this afternoon on 4 Dear Time, a countdown to an old favourite.